Patrick. Welcome to the early show. In tonight's programme, two old enemies meet again and talk about the World Cup. They are Sir Alf Ramsey and the West German manager Helmut Schön, the man Sir Alf beat in the 1966 World Cup final and the man who beat him in 1970. Also the panel, and tonight Brian Clough and Malcolm Allison talk about the clangers in the World Cup. Bobby Moncur looks at the new Brazilian pin-up boy Francisco Marinho, and Paddy Crerand looks in depth at the striking skills of Gerd Müller of West Germany. Also, your letters, but first of all, a bit of news. The Brazilian Armando Marques today became the first referee to be censured by FIFA for his handling of a World Cup game. They said his handling of the match between West Germany and Yugoslavia in Düsseldorf on Wednesday was unsatisfactory. And observers believe the Commission was unhappy about Marques' failure to award a penalty when the West German defender George Schwarzenbeck was brought down by Yugoslav Ivan Buljan. Let's have a look at that incident right now. As Schwarzenbeck making the run, and as he comes through, he's pulled down there, and the feeling was definitely that that should have been a penalty. Malcolm Allison, as we look at that again in slow motion now.
Here sees Schwarzenbeck outpace the Yugoslavian defender, get into the box, and the defender cannot play the ball. He plays Schwarzenbeck's back leg, brings him down the box. It's a penalty. It must be a penalty. But
Go on, Mal.
That's happened several times in the World Cup. I've seen 4 or 5 instances where people have been brought down in the box and no penalties have been given.
The same referee, in fact, Marques of Brazil, who was roundly condemned by our panel on that particular day for overreacting, in fact, when he had booked the West German Wolfgang Overath. Well, let's look now, first of all, at the West Germans. Now second favourites behind Holland. Their next match, of course, is against the Swedes on Sunday evening. Their supporters beginning to feel that they are putting their game together a bit, and certainly there were smatterings of form in their 2-0 win over Yugoslavia on Wednesday. Here are the West Germans, then. They are in white.
Wimmer. Breitner coming forward. Breitner's shot! Yes! What a beauty! Already with his socks down around his ankles. Ernest running onto a beautiful ball. Pull back for Müller. Müller! What a lovely through ball to get it off.
Well, even with that victory, it leaves the West German manager, Helmut Schön, who really is one of the gentlest of men, under extreme pressure, just as Sir Alf Ramsey was when England played host to the world in 1966. Well, today we've brought those old footballing rivals together again, away there in Germany, with Gerald Sinstadt.
What about the pressures, Helmut? As the host country, I've heard that you haven't received the support that you would have liked from the German spectators.
No. I can feel what you felt when the World Cup was in England.
But I think 8 years ago is so different to 1974. Yeah. I think there's been a gradual process of pressures out of all proportion to what we play football for.
Yes, I said it is a national Unglück, bad luck. If the home team doesn't come forward.
Disaster.
And, it's a disaster. And since months it goes in West Germany. We always hear, now you must win the World Cup in England, second, in Mexico, third, and now in Germany first. And therefore it was a great pressure for our players and for me. And you have seen the first games of our team were not the best, and I hope now we haben uns befreit. We are free.
More freedom.
Yeah, more freedom, and now I think we can come to our best form.
Have you been disappointed in the standard of performance by the South Americans? Do you think that has the methods used in Europe overtaken the South American skills and flares that they've presented in previous World Cup competition?
I always tried to have a good mixture between European and South American football.
Yes, I think the South Americans learned a great deal from
Yes.
European football in 1966, particularly in physical condition and understanding and organisation.
I think the South Americans have overtaken many things, many bad things of European football, not the best. they have seen how to have a very massive defense. And I am very disappointed that especially some of the South American teams like to play in a very defensive manner. Brazil, for example, plays very defensive, and they have no personalities to make a good offensive football, and therefore, and so I'm very disappointed.
How do you see the World Cup? Is there any hope for the future? Is there anything we can take from this particular competition at this particular point, which we can introduce in our football for the future?
No, I think the European football is on a good way, and it is not. He must go its own way, and he must not look too much to South America. Then I think that in technique and tactic and in physical condition, we are on the best way to be leading in the world. I think if the South American teams continue to play in such a manner, to play defensive and to lose their individualism, I think they can go back in football. And I hope that our European football will go further on.
I'm sure you're right in that respect, Helmut, and I would go back to what you said previously in that if we can learn, if we can take the good from the bad, no matter where it be, in South America or in Europe, then we're on the right track.
Sir Alf Ramsey and West German manager Helmut Schön, and in fact we're going to be continuing that conversation in a special World Cup on the ball in World of Sport at 3:10 tomorrow, when those two gentlemen will be talking about Holland, who isn't, and indeed who is going to win the World Cup. But I suppose if it's going to be Germany, then one of the trump cards for Helmut Schön over the next 10 days has got to be his great world-class striker, Gerd Müller. Now, Müller scored only once in the first-round games. That's unlike him. But he really got the taste again, as you saw in that match against Yugoslavia. And all Müller's confidence is returning.
Müller, off the bar. Müller, three, so simple. Uli Hoeneß, the in-swinging corner, just a flick of the head by Müller. For Müller, round the defence. Oh, what a miss! These Germans flying back into position. They've got the reputation of the fittest side in the competition. Here's Müller. Oh, it hit the post! That's the nearest West Germany have been. Hoeneß running onto a beautiful ball. Pull back for Müller. Müller!
Paddy, you really have to shout his name, Gerd Müller. What is it about him that you particularly like?
I think he's a tremendous little player. He's exceptionally good in the box, makes great angles for people when he gets in the box, when people are coming down either side. But I think some people don't give him enough credit for the skill he shows outside the box. To play along with him, if you see him lots of times, fellas can play balls up to him and he knocks them off tremendously well. Tremendous little player. You'll see him here against East Germany receiving this ball from Brighton. This is a tremendous bit of skill with his left foot. He's under very close attention from Weiss, but he still gets in his shot. That's tremendous skill there. Very sharp little player he is. You'll see him here make a great angle for Hoeneß when Hoeneß gets inside the box against the Yugoslavs. Plays a good ball back. He's under close attention from the centre-half, Katalinski. The ball breaks, but he's still alive and sharp and agile enough to get up and knock it in with his right foot. Tremendous little competitor inside the box he is.
I know when I've spoken to you about him, Brian Clough, that you say that one of the great things, that the qualities that he's got, he's always on target. I mean, we saw there, he was lying on the floor, but still his reactions were quick and the ball was on the target.
Yes, and he reacted so much more quickly than the defender. He wants a goal so badly that he wipes everything from his mind once he gets in the penalty area. All good goal scorers do it. And he doesn't mind if they bobble in, as long as they're going. This, you know, there's far too many forwards trying to put a hole in the back of the net. Not him. He'll push them off the post, he'll push them to the goalkeeper's legs, and invariably he gets all his goals, or most of his goals, inside 15 yards from the goal, which all good goal scorers do get.
Maric was saying, the Yugoslav goalkeeper was saying, he's the roughest forward in the competition. He said his elbows, his knees, everything around the box.
Yeah.
I think the point about him is against the defender, being a little fella, how he leans on defenders and he gets a lot of fouls. You know, he's strong, and as Mal says, he gets his arms around you, but he pushes you back and he often gets a lot of fouls, which probably he wasn't entitled to, but he does it so well. But being a little fella, gets away with murder at times.
He's a strong little devil, isn't he? He's got enormous thighs.
If I can just point out one last thing that makes him the best in the world, it's his ability and his willingness to turn. Once he's got his back to their goal, once he's got his back to the opposition's goal, and the centre-half literally sticking to his shirt, you watch him receive that ball and he'll turn and turn, no matter how much stick he gets, and he takes a lot of stick outside the penalty area, he keeps turning, keeps at it, and eventually gets a shot and eventually gets a goal.
I wonder how many more he's going to get for Germany before this World Cup's over. A little assessment there on the great Gerd Müller. We're going to take a break now, and we're going to look then at the pin-up in the Brazilian side, the new one there, Francisco Mourinho. We're also going to talk about the clangers in the World Cup. We're going to be looking at your letters, and we're going to be right back.